Hello everyone, welcome to English Elegance. Today we will talk about 5 simple habits to become fluent in English. So let's get started. So the very first is daily reading, listening and watching. So our mind is finite and we have to just be careful what we fill in our minds. So you just have to do the simple thing. We have to read, listen and watch one bit. So what is one bit? So one bit is just one small unit. Like if you are reading, so you can just read one page of a book. If you are listening, you can just listen to one episode of a podcast. And if you are watching, you can just watch one episode of a show. So by this, you will just have a habit of just reading, listening and watching on a regular basis. Now moving to the second. Second is daily writing. So, what you have to do, you simply have to write at least 100 words on regular basis. So, for writing, you can also use Google Docs. Google Docs are quite amazing. And they also give you like suggestions to replace the words, and they also help you in your grammatical errors as well. So, maybe initially you find difficulty in writing the sentences, maybe 2 to 3 sentences you find difficulty, but then it will get a flow. So for example, if you are writing 5-6 sentences, that means you are reaching, like you are approaching at least 100 words on a regular basis. So try to write it in a paragraph, whatever content you want, just write it in 100 words per day. Then moving to the third is ingredients of English. So I'm talking about vocabulary, I'm talking about phrasal verbs, I'm talking about idioms, I'm talking about phrases. So vocabulary, phrasal verbs, phrases and idioms. So this is all the stuff of English you have to practice. Just do one thing, just pick one domain. For example, today you picked vocabulary. So what you can do, you have to learn 5 new words. And then you have to keep shuffling the things. Like just pick one category, one domain and then keep shuffling the things. Like if you are learning 5 new words today, and then you can shuffle. You can just second day you can go for the phrasal verbs, and then you can go for phrases, and then you can go for the idioms. So if you do this, now what you will do, you will just see that these words, whichever you are learning, this will come back to you in some way or the other way. So most probably, maybe you are watching some TV show in future, maybe these words appear in that show, or if you are reading some magazine, you are reading some article or some newspaper, you are listening to any podcast. So this will come back to you in some way or the other. So this will help you in more of the knowledge also. Now moving to the fourth one, daily speaking. So speaking is in itself a creation. So you have to speak at least 10 minutes daily on a regular basis, just because without speaking you cannot develop a fluent English. Without speaking, no language can be developed. So just try speaking for at least 10 minutes daily. You can speak to yourself, as I already told you in the previous videos also. So what happens, let's understand this with an example. What we do there, the problem we face is that we don't speak up unless it is a necessity. Unless we just have an emergency situation, we don't speak up in English. So just take an example of the soldiers. They don't just go out and fight on the day of wars. They practice and train themselves on the non-war days also. So in the similar way, you have to train yourself how to speak fluently, so that if you are speaking for 10 minutes dedicatedly, then you will be able to speak, because your motto, your aim is to be a good communicator and to be more confident. So you have to speak at least for 10 minutes on a regular basis. Now moving to the fifth one. So fifth one is quite important. This is meta habit. So now what is meta habit? Meta habit is a habit of habits. So you have to keep a track of your habits. So there are multiple applications available that keep a track of your habits, and Habit Bull is one of them. You can check out and you can use for tracking your own habits. So whenever you are following your habits consistently, for example, the previous 4 habits which I told you in this video, you can just track the following habits, the 4 habits, through this application. So whenever you are just keeping a track, you don't want that red dot in your greens one. For example, you are continuously having your habit tracker for 5-6 days and you are doing your habits consistently. So there will be all green and there will be chain formation in the graph that will be in green color. So if you stop that, there will be one blinking red dot. So I hope you don't want that red dot. So keep just a tracker for your habits that will help you to be more disciplined as well. So keep a tracker, whichever is good for you. You can just have a look and you can search for it. So this is how you can just keep a tracker, and just all the habits will go in line and you will be more and more of consistent while learning and being fluent in English as well. So these were the habits which you can follow. And by the time, keep learning with English elegance.